Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, October 24th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple quick clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will still be moving around and changing. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, ticker symbol INVO. Big monster move here, and now we have ourselves a good solid pattern. And the nice thing about these sorts of situations is when you have patterns that a lot of people are seeing and wondering the same things, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So let me be very clear, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that any of this is some sort of special skill or talent. A lot of people are watching the same general pattern right here with the top part of the resistance at that area and then the bottom part of the support down here right around that level right there. So let me change that to green to represent more of the support. And then to keep it all maybe easier to see, let's keep it one color now. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big explosion right here. A few golfers out there, I'll try to make it a little bit more visual. We'll put the golf hole down here. This would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So while nothing is guaranteed, is it plausible? Is it valid that if the price can come up to the top part of the pattern and get a break up through it, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible outcome. So if you like this price range down below $5, you like bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, LMDX, and same exact talking point that I just went through. So I'm not going to sit here like a broken record. I'm just going to quickly draw it into place, and this should all look very familiar. So we have our resistance, we have our support. Now, is it the exact same thing? No, but the general idea is the same. So again, resistance, support, big upwards move here, golf hole down here. I would say the biggest difference here is this one just happens to be a penny stock. So maybe you like penny stocks and you like bull pennant patterns. Keep an eye on LMDX. Next one, MARA, and what I really find fascinating about this one, and again, by no means is this some sort of great discovery. You got to think that a lot of people have noticed that there's this high up here at 895 where the price came up here previously, found some problems, and then back down it went, and then you notice again today price. Now, the one little difference here is the price actually did go slightly above it, but nonetheless, the results were still the same. Momentum disappeared, and back down the price went. But the difference here is that the price is well within striking distance, whereas this time the price dropped all the way down here. This time the price is only dropped right there. Now, does that guarantee anything? Of course not, but does it make it a little bit more plausible that maybe, just maybe, the price has got a chance to come back up to that level and get a break up through it? Absolutely, just based on distance alone. I mean, the thing only has to travel, this amount of distance compared to previously. When it dropped down here, it would have to travel that amount of distance, which is, obviously a lot bigger. But all eyes on 895 moving forward. But overall, very nice day today. Now you have the interesting setup where, in some senses, you have the move here, and I'm kind of crudely drawing this, but almost a little miniature bull flag pattern right below that area. So can the price get the break up through there? Certainly an interesting set of circumstances. Next one here, AKU, an interesting situation as we have, in my mind at least, a key level of resistance right there at 39 cents. Now, maybe it doesn't look as apparent because, yes, the price did actually break above it and shot all the way up here. But what's interesting about it is that before the price did that, you can see it struggled with that area right there. And then as soon as the price fell back below it, you can see that area went right back to acting as an area of resistance. So in my opinion, that makes 39 cents an interesting breakout point where if the price can curl back upwards and get up through it, then maybe that's what the chart needs to see in order to get another round of momentum. And at the same time, you have a nice little slowly uptrending trend line right there as support. So almost a little miniature kind of wedge here has formed where, let me make it one color. So we have our area of resistance, and then we have that uptrending line right there. So a little bit of a wedge here that is formed, but like I said, a lot of volume, and that's what you need on penny stock. So a lot of volume, got the low volume consolidation right now. So does that guarantee anything? Of course not, as I've said, but does it make it rational to think that maybe, just maybe, the price has got another round of momentum to the upside? We'll see what happens. Next one here, ticker symbol AMC, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the video from Friday, but talked about that level right there at 895 as an area of support, and wouldn't you know it, this morning price came down here, found some support, and got a very, very nice bounce. So if you're somebody that watched that video from Friday and played that bounce, congratulations to you. You got yourself a very nice trade there. Granted, as of right now, the price is starting to come back down here, which now makes it reasonable to say, okay, is history going to repeat itself once again? I mean, it's happened several times already. I mean, it's happened there, and then as I already talked about right there. So does the price come down here and do it again? No guarantees, but is that reasonable given that it's already happened 3 times? Yeah, that's a reasonable thought process to have. So if AMC does come down, $8.95, definitely that very, very important level. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, ticker symbol CVM, and big move here. And what makes this interesting is the fact that, yeah, it did make a big move, but then it's, whoops, green, poor choice. Let me try that again. Did make a big move and then came back here. And then at this point is where things always get sketchy. They always get a little worrisome. And if you've traded for a while, you know exactly what I mean. Because if you have traded for a while, you've seen one of these movements where the price explodes and then the price just craters right back to where it was. You know, just a nasty, nasty move. But that was not the case here. The price did at least now start to go sideways. Now, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because it went sideways does not mean for sure guaranteed, okay, this thing is consolidating and going back upwards. But it comes back to that whole talking point of plausibility. It becomes a little bit more plausible at this point that the pullback is over and that this thing is ready to turn back around. In my mind, absolutely, that becomes a little bit more of a, like I said, interesting and realistic scenario. So as far as supports are concerned, nothing fancy here. Right there at $1.44 is just where the sideways movement started. And then in terms of the area that, you know, potentially could start to ignite some momentum back to the upside, right up there around the $1.70 mark. But if you like these sorts of scenarios where you get the explosion, you get the pullback, and then doesn't continue to pull back but starts to go sideways, keep an eye on CVM. Next one, PLTR. Talked about this one in Friday's video, and overall a rough start to the day. Price gap down, broke below this key area of support, and you can see the chart did not like that at all as the price dropped all the way down there. With that being said, which goes to illustrate how, you know, strong today actually was, the bull stepped in, and not only did the price go back up to that area of support, it got back above it and has now been cruising quite a bit of a ways up above that area. So nothing has changed here. 1580 remains that key area of support. But like I said, within the context of today, very, very impressive, sign of strength given how the price behaved. In terms of levels of resistance, nothing new here to report. The level that I talked about still holds 1645. And I suppose the price got somewhat close to it. Up around here, you can see the price got, generally close to it, but couldn't quite break through it. With all that being said, even if the price breaks above 1645, I'd still be a little skeptical because not that far away, you have the purple line right there, the 50-period moving average. So keep an eye on that. But all things considered, good, healthy day for PLTR. Nice momentum on the bounce. So we'll see if it can, the bulls can build upon that over the next couple of days. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and maybe, just maybe, some sort of bottom here is finally forming as we have an area of support that at 210, that to me stands out as an interesting level because maybe, now I can never remember these patterns. Is this a head and shoulder or reverse head and shoulders? I can never remember, but to me, we have a left shoulder right here. And then the question becomes, is this the right shoulder? Meaning, is the price going to come down to that area right there, find support, and then get the bounce? So keep an eye on that. And I think that's technically the neckline. But been trading for decades, and I can never quite visualize what the head and shoulder, what the reverse head and shoulders are, the neckline, all that sort of stuff. But I do see an area of support at 210.25. So if the price can come down a little bit more, let's see if the price can bounce up through that level. And then if the price does start to bounce, the main area of resistance to watch very closely, going to be all about that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. In the event the price does break down through that level, then really I should probably map that out just because next level of support, not until down there at right around the 205 mark. So basically a $5 difference from these areas here. So again, that doesn't mean that if 210.25 breaks, it's going to drop straight down there for sure. But it does create, there's a space in the chart here where it does make it realistic that the bears could pick up some momentum to the downside. But nice little bounce back here on Tesla. We'll see if the price can start to form a little head and shoulders here and then turn itself around. Next one here, AMD. And this is one of these situations where, like PLTR and Tesla was able to bounce back above the areas of support. This one did too. Got back above that area of support, but you can see here, rolled back over and is now broken back down below it. So things are definitely looking pretty sketchy here. on AMD. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level as it served its purpose now. And the main level that still stands out, I don't know how I did that. That was bizarre. But there is this trend line in place here. Let's get that in place. I know how I did that. I didn't grab the right thing. But let's get this trend line back in place. So there is this trend line right here, which you can see right here from the bigger picture, which got somewhat close today. You can see the price came up and got around that general area. Although if you don't want to use the trend line, you don't have to, because right there, that purple line is essentially mirroring that level right there. So that's kind of just a case of personal preference. So that's going to be the main area of resistance. Nothing new there. Still that level of, or that resistance trend line. But as far as supports, nothing fancy here. Just a question of where did the bleeding stop today? And that was down there at the 99.30 mark. So maybe some sort of double bottom. We have bottom number one right there. If the price comes back down to that area, is that the second bottom where the price comes down there and bounces again from there? Certainly an interesting scenario. But yeah, rough day for AMD. A lot of downwards momentum this afternoon. So we'll see if the price can try to get things turned around or not. Next one here, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to go up, this one will also go up. Difference here, it just allows you access at a much lower price point, which makes it a popular ETF. And we have a little bit of, now granted, it's a NASDAQ as a whole, so a lot of these stocks behaved similarly here, but we have the same general idea as Tesla here, is this another head and shoulder? Again, my disclaimer, I'm going to call this head and shoulders, but maybe it's a reverse. Maybe I have the terminology mixed up a little bit. But regardless, and this is why I don't really care about the names of things, because you got to think about what is being visualized here. And right here, it's become very apparent that was an area of support at 34. When the price broke below it, not good, but price got back above it and has now started to act as support again. So if the price comes down there, is history going to repeat itself like it did in that previous, the left-hand shoulder over here? We'll call it the LS for the left shoulder. So will this be the RS, the right shoulder? That remains to be seen. But in my mind, 34.20, definitely a very important level. And the other reason is if 34.20 doesn't hold, or excuse me, 34 doesn't hold, then the next area of support is basically not until down here at the $33 mark, which is a dollar away. Again, does not mean that if the price breaks below it, it's going to go down $1 within 10 minutes, but it does enter into a portion of the chart where there's just not any other data points that suggest where the price could find some support. If the price does turn itself around, then the area up here at 35.10 remains the area of resistance. You can see price temporarily got above it, but as soon as the price dropped back below it, that area went right back to acting as resistance right there. But also, you're going to want to continue to watch that purple line there. So even if the price were to break above 35.10, you're still not out of the woods, because you got to worry about that purple line there, 50-period moving average. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more, then definitely get signed up for that free training. It'll be Thursday, October 26th. At 7 p.m. Eastern time, so I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you'd like for me to continue to make these, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment, say hi, tell me what you traded today. Give me your watch list for tomorrow. But those two things help out the videos, help out the channel, and I thank you in advance for it. So again, go get signed up for that free training. Hit that like button, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.